Hello, and welcome back to episode 2. Welcome back to Hard Conversations with Dr. Michelle J. Clark, your host. And today I want to talk about something every single one of us have experienced, avoiding the conversation we knew we needed to have, whether it was a parent, a spouse, a friend, a boss, um, even ourselves, just avoiding difficult conversations often costs us more than having them, right? Um, so let that just sit there. What is a hard conversation to you? Think about that. Is this any conversation that requires courage? It involves truth, it involves vulnerability, and it also involves accountability. Those three things are very powerful because every single one of us has dealt with truth, being vulnerable, and accountability. A lot of people don't take accountability, they don't want to. So, the first thing they tell you in AA is what? The first thing they tell you in AA, Alcohol Anonymous, is to admit that you have a problem. And you have to do that. You have to take accountability. You will not grow if you do not take accountability. It's hard holding the mirror up to self, looking at it from a different, you know, standpoint. Um, that's definitely another conversation that we can have on another day. But a lot of people don't even like what they see when they look in the mirror. And that's a lot right there, because a lot of people don't even like self. So how can they even take accountability and even be true? It has the potential to change a relationship in your life, right? So if you're truthful, vulnerable, and taking accountability, that can all change. It's just a matter. And why do people avoid that? It's like Cat Williams. He said, why do liars lie?" That's probably the best thing he's ever said that I heard him say, amongst other things. But that one was something that really stuck out to me. Why do liars lie? If he's it, man, I have experienced so many liars, and I know they're lying, and I'm just looking at them like, "You're gonna look at me dead in my face and just lie? How can you respect that?" And I look at that like, if you're so, hear me out. If you're so this, if you're so confident, if you're so established, if you're so many of these things that you can be, then why do you feel you need to lie? I'm just saying, why do you feel you need to lie? Help make that make sense, right? Why? So here's the why: fear of rejection. That's number one. Fear of any conflict to have, um, losing the relationship, losing someone, fear of hearing the truth. Most people don't want to hear the truth. Tupac said, "My guy, the realest people has less friends. I can count on one hand, this hand right here, how many true friends I have because I speak truth. People can't handle the truth, and then they tend to deflect from hearing the truth. They fear of change. They fear of disappointing others, right? And so that has cost the cost of avoiding that has broken relationships, failed marriages, miscommunication, anxiety, stress, lost opportunities, resentment, regret. And so that is what breaks the trust, right? I want you guys to think of a hard conversation that you've had. And a hard conversation that I've had was with family. I I had to put aside the title, because we all stuck on the titles, boy. Oh, because your mama said, and I ain't gonna say no because my mama said. Well, your mom could be wrong. Just because she's your mother, that doesn't make her right. I'm not saying for you to disrespect your mom. However, right? I feel like both people need to hear one another, right? So, family relationships, career decisions, we talked about boundaries, we talked about divorce, we talked about starting over, fear of change, like I stated. Um, so, that's just something that, you know, we have to think about. Choosing peace instead of pleasing people. We're not even going to go into passive aggressive because there's a lot of people that are passive aggressive. They'll beat around that bush like, whoo, wee, baby. They'll beat around that bush, and you'll be like, why you just didn't say that? Just say what it is that you're trying to say. I mean, I had to think about it, and it's like, again, why? Just say it. But it goes back to what I just said, fear of disappointing. Well, a person like myself, I would rather for somebody to tell me up front what's up, because I can decide as a person if I want to give that access to you. I don't want anybody that's going to lie to me. If you're so confident in self, as I said, if you're so this and you're so that, then why you got to lie? Most people lie. You got all millionaires lying to these girls. Why? Just say, hey, listen, let me give you a suggestion. Hey, listen, I'm in a relationship. Um, I'm not going anywhere, but we can be friends. Everybody know what that means. Come on now. She's either going to decide, A, she going to deal with it, or B, you know what? I'm not that girl. I ain't judging nobody. Do whatever you feel you must. But what I'm saying is for the liars out there, as Cat Williams says, why do liars lie? Why? Allow that person to make that decision. A lot of toxicity will stop when people start being honest more. And again, this is why we have, or why I'm having this hard conversation, because it's just annoying. It's very annoying. So I have a poll, and I want you guys to think about this. Have you ever avoided a difficult conversation because you was afraid of that outcome? Think about that. Have you ever avoided a difficult conversation because you was afraid of the outcome? Let that sit. All right. Yes or no? Right. Put that poll down there for me. And second, with that, think about what happened when you finally had the conversation. You probably felt better. You gained some clarity. That's number one. Oh, okay. So this is why he didn't call me back, because he had somebody else. Um, we stop carrying that emotional weight. That weight, you'd be like, dang, whew, I feel so much better that I told her that. Yeah. And then, we also discover who truly supports us. We grow emotionally and we begin healing. And that's the question again, um, that I want you to think about with that. So I got 5 questions here, to ask yourself before the hard conversation. When you have the conversation, as I told you to think about it, think about who you would like to have the hard conversation with, right? I want you to think about number one, what outcome am I hoping for? That's number one. Number two, am I speaking from emotions or wisdom? Because we got to keep our feelings kind of out of it in a sense. We got to think rational there. Have I listened as much as I've talked? A lot of people want to talk, 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 and don't even want to hear the other person out. So what I have to say is not important. I just need to listen to you. No, a lot of people do that. But that's another form of deflecting too. People like to deflect and rationalize and all these things. So that's where question 4 comes in. Am I willing to hear an answer I may not like? It goes back to fear, because most people don't want to hear, man, if I say this, man, shoot, if I say I got somebody else, she may not want to deal with me. And five, will avoiding this conversation make things better or worse? And that's what you have to ask yourself. You know, having these hard conversations and being honest with people can save a relationship, a career, a business move, restore your peace. I'm telling you, your peace is what you need. You know how you see somebody and you look at them like, oh, they've been through a lot. Yeah, because that's the weight of that. That's the weight of things that, you know, you, I know somebody now been in a relationship and has been faking it the whole time. And I'm just looking like, mm, I see the weight. I see that you're not happy. I could tell. You know, people try to hide things, you know. It can also change the direction in your life. And, you know, I'm going to use my own personal experience on this. Um, and this is this comes from poll number two in the comments here. Who is the hardest person for you to have that hard conversation with? Right? Is it a family member? Is it a spouse? Is it a partner? Is it a friend? Is it your boss? Is it your coworker? Is it yourself? Is it yourself? Some people really need to have some conversation with themselves. That talks about morals and values. A lot of us has lost track of morals and values, and you know, so that goes back to the holding the mirror up to self. Um, and I would say, I'm gonna use my personal example. There was a season in my life when I had to have a hard conversation, and I it, it was a conversation that I say I've ever had to have with myself, and I had to admit that I couldn't control every outcome as much as I wanted to because I'm so goal oriented. I'm so determined. I never give up. I'm always going to complete the goal. I'm always going to finish what I started. Most people can't do that, right? But I had to have that hard conversation with myself because I had to say, hey, this person ain't going to think like you. They may not value that the way you value it. But at the end of the day, everyone that I've had contact with has respected who I am because I've always been honest with them. Now we ain't talking about, you know, crossing somebody. That's different. You know, we talking about from, day one, right? And I had to accept that. And sometimes, you can love deeply, give it your best, and you still have to let it go. And that conversation changed the way I looked at healing, and it made it better for me, because I had to say and know to myself, and I had to say to myself, this person may not value me the way I think they value you. And so once you understand that, and you look back at that and you say to yourself, like, okay, you've done everything that you felt you can do, then that's all you can do. So I just want you guys to take with you, you know, this question here along with the polls, right? I want you guys to, I want to hear from you. I want you guys to think about what's that one conversation that you've been avoiding and what's holding you back from it, right? If you don't have to give names, you don't have to, just share your experiences in the comments because someone else may read this and realize that they're not alone. And that's the whole point of this because a lot of times people are they're experiencing the same thing that you thought, oh dang, so people are like, experiencing the same thing. Like, dang, I thought I was the only one who looked at this like this. Um, and you'll be surprised. So please do leave those comments. And before we meet again, just ask yourself, what's the one conversation that you've been avoiding that you could have to change your life? And if you had the courage to have it. So if you would please share, like this video, and just remember, having these hard conversations can help you in ways that you wouldn't even think. You know, it gets you to think, um, what can I do or what could I have done different? So, in ending here, think about this week. If there's a conversation that you've been avoiding, I want to challenge you this week. Don't let fear make your decision. Prepare your heart, choose your words carefully, and have the conversation. But also be able to allow that person to speak and finish their sentence and hear them, not texting, not being on your phone. Give them that one on one conversation. And it may not change the other person, but it might just change you, and you'll be surprised. So until next time, thank you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, you guys have a great rest of your day.